episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
That's a good...
What?
It's a good voice you have.
Brains.
That was
This is pretty good.
That was a thing. That was like an ASMR thing.
Sometimes
almost.
I do it to Ember.
again.
Sometimes I do it to Ember. She'll be like, we play this game. It's called like The Pirate. And it's basically the idea. It's so funny when you have kids.
Yeah,
you start just doing these bizarre games you made up one day. And this is a game you make up when you're tired, right? It's a classic tired game. I was like, she was waking up all night.
Those slap though.
All night she was doing this stuff. And she goes, I was laying down on the couch, half asleep. And there was this little treasure box that she has. It was by my head. And when she got near me, I just go... like I was a sleeping pirate.
Yeah.
Just be like, you know what I mean? And so it was like she was scared to get the treasure. So she'd grab the treasure and run, and I'd be like, where's my treasure? And do this whole thing and come running after her.
This is a classic game.
And she'd be like, just running away from me and stuff. But it was just out of tiredness because I was so tired, and I was just like, what can I do not moving? So if she comes close, I can do the or like if you fake like you're kind of stirring in your sleep. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta say something hilarious Ember said today. It killed me.
Go.
Because there's nothing funnier than when you're talking to your child and they're being very serious and you're trying not to laugh, right? Like I feel like you're gonna run into this like in the next 2 years because she's gonna start getting really serious.
We have it where I'm like,
right. Because they start getting real serious about stuff. Like, this is my opinion on this. This is very serious, So she goes, there was a substitute at her school. Mm-hmm. And when there's a substitute, she's telling me that no one behaves when there's a substitute. And it really bothers her. Right? Because when there's a substitute, their kids are running wild. And they're like, what are you going to do? You're not my teacher. That kind of thing. So they're running around screaming and this whole thing. And Ember's saying, I'm screaming at everyone, like, sit down, listen. You gotta obey the teacher. He's just a substitute. You need to listen to him. She's very frustrated that they're not behaving in the same way that they have when their teacher's there. And I go, Ember, here's the thing. Sometimes you can't control other people's behavior. And if you're doing the right thing, you can't force other people to do the right thing. She's just like, but like, they won't listen to me and I tell them. And she's like, I'm like, Ember, you can only focus on yourself. You can't force other people to do the right thing. And she goes, Dad, but that's just how I roll. And I literally, I can't even hold it in. So I literally like laughing so hard. And then that pissed her off so she threw the blanket over her head like, I can't believe you're laughing at me. And I had to explain, I'm not laughing at you. That was a funny way you said it. And, I love you. Dad, that's just how I roll. Dad.
Dude, Ember's so hard.
She's hard, dude.
Dude, I am legit.
I am legit.
That killed me.
Yeah, she'll just be in the mirror sometimes after I blow dry her hair. Mm-hmm. She'll go like this, ooh, ah. I'll hear her going, ooh. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's just literally striking poses in the mirror. And she's like flinging her hair around. And she just goes, I'm so beautiful. And I'm like, bro, please give me just an ounce of that in my life. Just imagine just standing in front of the mirror all day and just being like, oh yeah, you got it. It's unbelievable. Ooh, yeah, just, ooh. Unbelievable, dude. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I've kind of liked how it's almost like it just sounds like you just jumped into like a conversation, which is
we just welcome them into it.
This is not, you just walked, what that was you walked into a house where we were already hanging out. The two people had gotten there before you and we were just hanging, baby.
Mm-hmm. And we just let you come hang though.
Yeah, we're just like, welcome.
Seamlessly.
We're not going to make it awkward. We just come right in, take a seat, and you're hanging with the broskies.
No, that's what, if we were on Bachelor, like it would be so low key. Everyone would just be hanging out on that big cabana bed. And then all of a sudden we would just be in there in the middle of everyone. And no one would even know how we were there. And they'd be like, when did that happen? They'd be like, they've been here the whole time.
By the way, that big cabana bed is massive.
humongous.
There's literally like 20 people on that thing.
The whole entire cast
can sit on that bed. And there's nothing better than when like there's a couple that's on the bed that's like fresh breakup from someone else, and then that person's also on the bed. They're all sitting there like looking like, are they touching each other? Are they looking at each other? Are they kissing? Anyway, how was your weekend, dude?
My weekend was good. It was good. I was trying to think if there's anything. I was like, anything's really spectacular.
Yeah.
Can't really think of anything.
It's just kind of a normal.
Parents. Yeah, it was just like a normal, chill weekend.
It's funny. I'm like just realizing how much of a normal ass dude / dad I'm becoming. Mm-hmm. Like all the things that I thought were so boring and lame back in the day are now like some of my favorite things.
What's exciting you?
Well, when I was like when I was 25, right?
Yeah.
And you told me strolling around an outdoor mall, you're like, I was like, what? Like, why would I do that? That sounds so boring. And now, me, Ember, and Jess, and the little pup walking around an outdoor mall, just chilling, getting some ice cream, is literally like the best thing ever.
Sounds great.
What? Yeah, what happened? Like, what goes on that, like, now that is so good?
It's like, when all of a sudden you realize, like, you don't just like a particular grocery store, you have a deep appreciation for it.
But again,
like
if you
Costco,
talk to a 25,
you're just like,
yeah. But if you talk to a 25-year-old version of us and said like, oh, you're gonna one day love going to the grocery store, it'd be like, what? That sounds horrible. Chores? What are you talking about? Chores? But now it's like, oh, I look forward to going to Ralph's and getting like stuff for the night's meal.
It's exciting.
Now, is that depressing? When that's the excitement?
No.
Or is it more like we've settled into ourselves? What is that?
It's funny. It's like we are exercising adulthood. Where you're like, I'm making all the choices. Children don't get to make the choices.
Yeah.
And that's abundantly clear when you become a parent.
Although sometimes it feels like they are making the choices.
It feels like they can. Well, this is where it's a power struggle. You got to put your foot down.
I feel like we're always in the middle.
You got to put your foot down and argue with them. Get on their level,
dude.
Don't let them win.
It's a battle. Ember wins half the time. I feel
all relationships are a battle. All relationships are a head-on competition.
Or a head-on collision.
Everyone should treat all their relationships like the other person's trying to beat you. And you can't let them. You can't let them win.
Is that how you treat it? It's a war?
All aspects of life are a game to be won. Game theory.
Game on. Play. Player one.
I know what time it is. Game time.
You dodge and weave. You bob and weave. Dodge the hook. It's definitely like ledger. You know what I mean? Everything's a ledger with like the kiddo too. It's like, well, you let me do this, so I don't get to do this, and I get to do this because you didn't let me do this.
They're trying to figure it out.
They're always like just negotiating and dealing and doing side bets and deals, and then being like, okay, I didn't get what I want from this one parent. I'm going to go to the other one, see if I can hedge them against each other.
Our nanny nonstop buys the kids stuff. We were like, Patty, you can't buy anymore. You can't buy them any more things until Christmas. She's like, okay.
Oh, like presents.
One of the things they'll do is like they'll just go to the store
and they'll just pick out random stuff.
Just let them look at stuff, and then it winds up in a situation where there's like, they want something,
like all kids do.
So she gets them like one little thing. So every time they're with her, they're coming home, and we're like, dude, what the?
So then you go to that store, and they're like, well, where's my thing?
No, hell no, we don't go to the store. But we told them they can't have any more things, and then Ruth is like, why can't I have any more things?
Right.
And we're like, babe, you can't get any more new shit until Christmas, because Christmas is coming up and like people are going to buy you presents. You don't need anything more. Mind you, when you get all your new stuff, we're going to have to go through your old stuff and make room for the new stuff.
That's a huge one.
Well, she's okay with the idea of giving away her things to other little girls and other little boys. She likes that.
That's cute.
She tells us that we have to do it.
Right.
But she tries to strike deals with us. Or she's like, what if I just get new things, but I don't take them out of the bag until Christmas?
Right. Oh, smart.
She's like, what if we continue to let Patty buy me things, but I just won't actually fully get to enjoy them until
Delayed
Christmas?
gratification, knowing that she will win in the end.
Yeah, and we were like, no, dude. But she's like trying to.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
She's
I'm
trying
gonna,
to
well, she's gonna
circumvent-
find it. I mean, she's only a couple years old, so it's like she's finding it, and
She
once
already-
she finds it, she'll know. Oh, that's their weak spot. Got it.
She
Okay.
already does exactly. She knows what you don't want her to do and just goes and does it when you're not looking, and tries to hide it from you.
Right.
Like that's already a thing. It's just like she's like, I know. It's clear
Right.
her attitude is like, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Like worst case scenario, you get a little mad at me. Like
goes-
big deal. I can live with that.
She goes, it's fine, Daddy.
She soothes you.
Yeah, you're like, Ruth, you can't do this. She goes, Daddy, it's fine.
Daddy, listen. You need to chill. You know what she's gonna do.
Daddy, it's okay.
She's gonna do stuff like this. Daddy, don't you have work to do? Like, aren't you busy? Like, oh, you seem busy. Are you okay? Don't worry about me. I'm good.
Dude, it's like, is it gaslighting or like, what is it? You're getting gas.
It's identifying weakness and exploiting it. That's what it is. It's identifying
She
weakness.
just gets super cute and she's just like,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
Daddy,
yeah, they're gonna
Daddy,
soften
it's
right up.
Dad, it's no, Dad.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine, Daddy. It's all okay.
Shh, shh, shh,
That one.
shh, shh.
Getting
You're like, what?
shush.
Shh,
Holding your face.
Yeah, Ember does this thing. She goes, dad, 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 dad. Like, whoa. Like, if she tries to, because she's in a real candy mode right now. She's always trying to do candy deals. That's her main deal right now. Because there's stuff left over from Halloween.
Yes.
So it's always like candy deals. So it's like, Daddy, she picks like this big one that she knows she's not going to get, but she knows it'll at least start the conversation to go lower. But if she starts to, it's like this whole thing. But dad, 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 dad. Because if I go Ember, dad, 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 dad. Okay. I understand that you're triggered by this. So let me kind of rephrase it with a different thing. Oh, well, okay. Well, Mom said I could. Like she's just like, I'll try anything.
Already taking that angle.
Constantly.
She said, well, I did that.
Really?
You never did that? You never had to be like, just circumvent?
My parents were extremely, they didn't, if they felt a certain way, it's it. Like there was no, my parents were, they do not negotiate.
Dude, I would fully, I'd
negotiation.
be like, Mom, can I go do this thing? She'd be like, no. And I would just immediately call my dad and be like, Dad, do you mind if I go, like, is it all right if I do this thing?
And your dad's in the middle of work. He's like, what? Yeah, I don't
he's
care.
like, I don't care. And then I'd be like, Dad says it's fine.
All right. So
Dad says it's fine.
So you
What?
call Dad and figure it out then. Oh, it's okay, whatever, it's fine. Boom, worked. Okay, cool. I'm gonna use that every time until it doesn't work, and you're gonna come up with something new.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
And then even though when it starts to fail, you just always you just add it to the Rolodex of everything you're gonna try.
right. Yeah, because you just have all these like go-tos. You have all these go-tos. Now, was there anything your parents did that like hurt? You know what I mean? Like let's say for some parents or for some kids, it would be like, oh, grounded. I didn't want to be grounded. That was the worst thing. Or disappointment. If my dad looked at me with that disappointing gaze, that was the worst. Or was there anything that your parents did when you disappointed them that was like, that broke my heart? Because sometimes it's like, oh, I don't care if they take away my PlayStation or whatever, because I'm going to go hang out with my friends. But like when they found, what was that thing? Was there a thing that like when they responded that way, it crushed you?
To be honest, I was in such a nonstop war with my parents
that it was blood.
There was like no, it was like everything was like just we're against each other. There were no like, it was like shitty teenager thing of like, I don't know what one thing would have been like.
Would you feel like they were struggling to figure out what was the thing that would get you the most devastated?
They were just scared. They were just like, no, it was more so like they, it's like they didn't want me going to do certain things. They didn't want me hanging out with certain people. They didn't want, it was like trying to,
normal,
trying to put all the boundaries in. But you're just like, no, like I'm going to leave the house. And when I'm out of the house.
But was there a thing like, oh, we're taking away the PlayStation? Or were they not really like that?
Dude, all the time. There was like, I was telling Becca this, but I was like, dude, I would get grounded for like, my parents would ground me for like 4 to 6 weeks at a time. Because I was doing my
6 weeks,
when we were
a month and a half, they would ground you.
When we were all like 13 and 14, we were waking up. We were all like staying up and sneaking out of our houses at like 11:30 and stealing our parents' cars.
Bro.
Like a handful of us, and then racing our parents' cars.
At 13,
Yeah,
dude?
like 13 and 14.
Bro, what are you talking about? This is like a movie, bro.
So we all got.
Dude, if I did that.
So I got grounded for like 6 weeks when that happened, and had like, it's like lockdown. But I was constantly.
If I did that, bro, if I snuck out and stole a car, I would be. They would go to counseling in order to like figure out how they're going to change my life for the next 10 years. They'd be like, well, he's going to boarding school and we have him under strict lockdown in a foreign country. Like, they wouldn't even be considered. They'd be like, yeah, that is insane. Bro, you were wild, bro.
That's why I was like, I mean, me and my best friend got sent to like a reform school.
So you did. You got sent to disciplinary academy.
It was it was sort of like a disciplinary academy.
For how long?
Everyone there though was like, dude, the stuff that we were hearing, like those kids were doing.
Oh yeah, when you get sent away,
we were like, dude, we are not a big deal. Like
right,
the stuff we were
nothing.
doing was like, the stuff that these kids were talking about was like super crazy.
Intense. You guys were the conservative kids.
Yeah, we were like.
It's funny you say that. So during my junior and senior year in high school, I went to a private school.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents got a scholarship for not having much money. Uh-huh. So like the only reason why I was able to get into the school is because like per year they had to give a certain amount of kids who were under a certain like income grants. So they gave me this, they allowed me in, and my parents liked it because it was like a Christian school, right? They didn't realize that Christian private schools are places where like wealthy people send their kids who are problems to get fixed.
Yeah.
So the stories like my classmates were telling me were just insane. That I was like, dude, if I had a propensity to be a problematic child, like it would have gone through the roof, because they took me from like normal education to like a place where I had at my disposal far more chaotic like influences.
And those kids have means to like do
crazy stuff. And I was like, dude, you guys don't realize this whole like, because they didn't do it to like fix me. They did it to like, it's going to be like a good wholesome place for him to go to school to not have bad influences. And I was like, dude, this is twice as bad.
Well, that was like the first pot dealer I met at Boy Scouts.
Right. Yeah, the place where you're supposed to send your kid.
I got paired up with someone who was to mentor me.
Wow.
Those kids, two of them choose someone, and these two kids, Max and Teo, who were like very foundationally bad influences on me.
Right. Couple years older.
Just like we would be like, like 2 days a week, I would just be with them for like a couple hours. And then they would like pick me up after school to like do shit.
Stop.
Yeah. And then like, or we did, I always worked the Christmas tree farm with Boy Scouts in high school. You'd be like 14 and make like hundreds of bucks because you just get it was all for our neighborhood. So it was like
wealthy neighborhood and all these people buying $300-$400 trees,
and then you walk it to their house. They're like,
here's like a $50
exactly
tip, and you're
so
like,
you do
I'm
like
13,
6
dude.
or 7 of those a night. Just hustle some trees, and they think it's so funny. You're like selling. Oh yeah, this here's your Douglas fir right here. It's White Frost Doug fir. That one's gonna run you about $80. Be like 14, and then take it to march it up to their house, and then like you just spend time with these guys, and they were all like. We were in middle school. They were all in high school. So it was just like,
which is might as well be 20 years older.
Yeah, but it was funny because it was still Boy Scouts. Like the majority of the people were not like the bad influence people were all hung out together.
Of course,
it was still Boy Scouts, but we like it was kind of tight because you just learned all this cool shit.
Right.
They're like those two are like killing it. They're just like it's like anti-hero stuff.
Right.
Where they're like good bad kids.
Wow.
Okay, broads, quick pause from the bros. So if you've been looking for the perfect present to gift someone special this holiday season, you have to check out Storyworth. It's the kind of gift that shows someone you really care. And not only that, but it truly is the gift that is for the receiver, the giver, and for the whole family for years to come. Confused? Let us explain.
You know I love Storyworth. They're an online service. They dive deep into what makes your friends and family who they are. They ask thought-provoking questions and prompts, and they help draw out all the precious memories and stories from your loved one's life. And each week you get to pick the questions they're asked. They've got a great pool of options. Some of the examples, if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? One I asked my dad, what was your favorite Christmas present you ever received as a child? Just like, I don't know, stuff you wouldn't normally think to ask, and you get to capture it all in a book, because throughout the year, Storyworth collects the responses via email, and then they turn it into a beautiful keepsake book at the end.
So here's the thing, reading the stories not only helps you connect with the person you gave the gift to, but also the book can be passed down for generations, and you'll probably even learn new stories you've never heard before in the process. Take it from me, I have given my mom, my dad, and my grandma Storyworth, and I am telling you, the things I learned about all three of them through these stories because of Storyworth and through the questions actually blew my mind. We had so many amazing conversations because of these questions. I've learned so much. We've gotten closer. It's amazing, and I'm so excited also to be able to pass this book down one day to Ember. It is so special.
With Storyworth, you can give those you love the most thoughtful, personal gift from the heart while also preserving memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/chatty. Save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/chatty to save $10 on your first purchase.
So Broad Squad, I have some questions for you. Is your man looking to trim his tree this holiday season? Are you still looking for the perfect present for your guy because they tend to be impossible to shop for? Well, don't you worry about a thing, baby, because we have the perfect gift idea for you that is going to check all those boxes, and that is some men's grooming products from Manscaped, the best.
Manscaped, you know we love them. They are the leader in all things men's hygiene. They have some brand new products in time for the holidays. I recommend going with one of the pre-done packages. They have everything a guy could possibly need in there. Plus, it's just like, I don't know, it's a nice gift box. Performance Package 4.0 is a good one if you want to cover all the bases. That has the signature Lawnmower 4.0. There is not a better trimmer out there. That's what Manscaped's known for. It's waterproof. It's skin safe. It even has like a little light for precision. It is 10 out of 10. I have tried it for myself. And they also have their crop preserver, their crop reviver. You're like, what is that? It keeps his jingle balls nice and fresh.
And if you go one step further and get the hygiene bundle, your guy will also get a pair of anti-chafing boxers. Okay, I also steal these from Evan. So comfortable. There are also tons of great add-ons if you want to make the bundle even more luxe, like the ultra premium body wash and the brand new body buffer. Their products are amazing and top quality. I know I talk about Manscaped all the time because Evan's obsessed. And I remember the first time I gifted him Manscaped and he loved me forever. And like I said, I also steal the products because they're so amazing. We love Manscaped.
Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/chatty. Every guy has Manscaped products on their wish list. Whether you know it or not, they want it. Get him the products he's actually going to use this holiday season, and he's going to use it for years. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com/chatty. Get your man a gift you'll both enjoy. The gift of Manscaped. His jingle balls are going to thank you.
So now that we all have kids, right? It's like now we're kind of taking our childhood and our parents' parenting, distilling it down, taking the good, rejecting the bad, right? Into like our children now. Through your personal experience and through your parenting experience, do you now have kind of like I'm going to do this with my kids. I'm going to, not like specifics, but just kind of like a general vibe of where you want to go with it?
I think the big thing was like so I was doing like the kind of stuff I was doing. If I was my parents and I was like, there's nothing but bad influences around, like he's just into like,
He's just in a bad crew.
I would be like, this is like, it's not like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to put him in like something or like, we're going to start going to see this person. It would be like, no, you just move.
Right, because it's
You
too
just move.
close.
You just
yeah.
uproot it. It's like there's too much established stuff going on.
You're not going to get them to like reject all their friends. There is like a argument to be made to be like, yeah, if you just change your environment, it might help. You know, I know for me,
Just switch schools. Just
Right.
be like, no, go make new friends.
right. I know
Just
for me,
bah.
that was a big thing that I took away from my childhood as like a good thing was not allowing myself to be bored too much. You know what I mean? Because when you're bored, it's like you're kind of looking for stuff to like get the needle moving versus like constant like sports or like activities and things like that. I know for me was really big because it taught me to like work with other people. It taught me discipline. It taught me how to like take criticism. It taught me how to, you know what I mean? Like it taught me how to like work on myself and be bad on the team, work myself up to a good place. Like, you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of my friends that struggled were bored. You know, like they weren't in any of these things and they were just like looking for something to do.
Well,
and it's
also,
like, it either goes a good way or a bad way.
The
you know?
extra, like having them in like a decent amount of extracurriculars
Right.
also forces interaction with like all these other groups of people.
And kids have so much energy too. You got to get the energy out.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm already noticing Ember's like the cartwheel queen right now. She does cartwheels all day.
Gymnastics.
So it's like cool.
dance.
Gymnastics, dance, singing class. You just pursue all those interests. I think that's what I really want to like, as best as I can. I want to put as little amount of obstacles between her and her passions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to like facilitate, like if you have passion, we're going to go for it. You know, I don't want you feeling like you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs on a Saturday. It's like, you should have tons you're doing.
It's so funny. Becca asked me about like the attitude. Ruth is already like, Ruth and Frank will be like, I don't want to go to swim practice.
Sure.
And Becca's like, what is the like thing on like, do we make him go? And I was like, yes.
Right.
I was like, practices. I was like, there are activities they'll do that will be fun, but like when they're signed up in a program, they like go do it.
Right.
That's like, I was like, they're going to go and then they're going to enjoy going there. But like, you don't want to start the precedent of like,
When they don't want you, you're out.
yeah, because that's just going to be a thing. It's like, you have to finish what you started.
That's a huge one.
That's one that you go through with these. It's like, okay, you don't want to do baseball again. Well, you're going to finish out this season.
And then you can pick something new. But like we
Exactly.
finish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cause I mean, there'll be a lot of things in life that are boring and you don't want to do. And you just got to learn, you got to have that muscle of like, okay, you just do it anyways. Cause you got to, you know?
And there's an age where like, I think like 12 is like where they're just suddenly like, no, like I don't want to be in it. Like, I remember being like, no, like I don't want to be in a sports league. And then they'd be like, well, you're going to do something. Cause it was like, well, you're going to be doing an extracurricular.
Something.
And then they'd sign me up for one and I would just be like, sick.
Right. You find something in it
Just,
you really like.
okay, now I'm playing football. Now
Right.
I'm playing baseball again. Just
Right.
like, okay, like now now we're back on this.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay,
Right. Right.
didn't matter. Cause it was like you don't actually have a say.
Right. Yeah. You're still governed.
They're like, hey, do you want to do this? You're like, no. And they're like, well,
You're doing it.
you're doing it.
You
And
said
then
you wanted to.
It's
So
like, why did you even ask?
right. Right.
I remember having that conversation so many times.
Classic.
Why are you even asking me? I don't have an option. You made it already. Why don't you just tell me this is what's happening?
Let's just ignore the conversation. We're not going to get into
What
this.
is this charade? You wanted to just like surprise me?
Right.
You fool.
It just
That's why I want to send them to boarding school.
boarding school.
I don't want to deal, dude. I do not. The last person that I want to deal with is me as a teenager. And I'm going to have two of me.
Right.
And I don't want to deal with it.
You don't want to deal
I
with it.
do not want to. Becca says she wants to deal with it. I don't understand that. I'm like,
She wants hands on.
ship them off. Let them be someone else's problem during the years where they're typically probably say things like,
Defiant.
I hate you.
Yeah, where they're defiant.
Yeah. They're like,
I've been having this thought lately. I've been like, oh, I'm going to miss the days when Ember's like just so happy to be around me and wants me to cuddle her and stuff like that. I know one day she's going to be like, Dad, stop. And I'm like,
Ruth is already like,
please.
I have to make deals to just kiss her cheeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Did I tell you last week that Ember was doing that to me? She goes, I'm like, here's the deal. Like, if you promise, I'll give you this candy. If you promise to forever, always let me kiss you and hug you, and I'm going to move in with you forever.
She's like,
Dad, I can't do that. I can't. Oh, I'll probably forget, and we can't do that promise.
I can't make promises.
She
I can't
literally
keep.
will do that. You'll see her struggle. Like, instead of just telling me what I want to hear, she'll be like, no, I can't. I'll just keep the candy then, because I can't promise that I'll let you kiss me.
You're like, bro, are you serious?
I'm like, I'll give you 1,000,000 candies. Just say yes. Well, we're reaching the end of the pod, and we're also reaching the end of the year. It's a little early, but me and Jess were talking about like reflection stuff, and even just with my therapist, guru dude, talking about reflections and stuff. And
because you don't have a therapist, you have like
I call him my guru. I say therapist so that people know what I'm talking about.
But he's not actually
he's not even a therapist.
No.
He's a guru, my guru. And I thought we could like do a couple questions on like self-reflection for the year.
I like that.
So like the first one will be, how did you take care of yourself this year, emotionally, mentally, or physically?
Wow.
Yeah.
I made a concerted effort to address some of the emotional baggage problems I don't know. Just the emotional side of myself.
Got it.
Diving into the areas that I was too consistently ignoring, like ignoring needs in that way, or just like really trying to get to the root of things that were frustrating me. And so I did a bunch of things that I normally was like adverse to. Like on some sides, it was like doing the past life regression stuff.
Right. Stuff you would have never entertained before.
Yeah. And also like starting different, like trying to find like what form of therapy worked for me and what I wanted to do, and just like really kind of give into this. Cause, it just became like, it was like, okay, this is what really needs to get resolved.
Beautiful.
Repeat the question.
What was, how did you take care of yourself this year?
I'd say diving into my mental health was a big one of how I took care of myself.
And it's not emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's more like pick one and explain how. Yeah. So I feel like that's a really good, that's beautiful. Yeah.
What about you?
For me, it was a version of that. Not quite the same, but, and I feel like this podcast really helped me a lot this year, because I feel like us just talking started questions in my brain. You know, we'd like talk about something, or like you said, meet with a medium or talk to someone and be like, well, that's getting me to think. But the main thing was meeting with my guru like this year was huge. You know, my dude, like allowing myself to even go there. I would have never even allowed myself to go there, just like you were mentioning. But the main thing that I realized I needed taking care of myself in was self-love. And it's something that like, it sounds so like, previous to my experience this year, that terminology, self-love, just sounded annoying and sounded like, what are you even talking about? You know what I mean? It just sounds like some bullshit. But actually diving into it, realizing how little self-love I had for myself, and how much I had these defense mechanisms and these walls in order to cope with this like deep self-loathing mentality I had about myself. And realizing that like my accomplishments are not what makes me who I am. My outward appearance, not physically, but like how people see me is not what makes me who I am. You know, and like the realization that like I'm enough before I do any of those things is such a new concept to me. And it's something I've been really like focusing on. And it's been a battle, but it's been like radically transformative, you know? And it's like, I don't know, just prioritizing, you know. Before, if it was there, like if I would have gone on this journey with my therapist, I would have canceled constantly. I would have found a reason not to do it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have made a priority, but I made it a priority. Like I canceled things to make it happen. I like pushed things to not miss the meeting, you know? And because of that, it allowed me to like prioritize the things we were dealing with. And one of those main things was self-love. And so I don't know, it just allowed me to like, not have as much brutal anxiety. Dude, therapy bros. Okay, here's kind of an alternative question. What challenges do you still need to conquer? Or like pick a challenge that you feel like maybe that you're, far from feeling like you've even begun to tackle.
I'd say it's like the being able to be okay with the uncertainty
Okay.
of like potentially looming problems. Potential.
Right.
Being
Fear
like,
of the unknown.
ooh, okay, like that could be an issue. It's not yet. Maybe it never will be. And then just being like, greet that as it comes, if it ever does. But because it's not happening right now, it's not something that actually like needs to be, it's like, okay, you recognize it. It's 100% out of my control.
Yeah.
So like, don't let that stop me from having basically like don't let that control and dictate like how my mood is and how my perspective is for like the time in between now and whenever that may never occur.
Yeah, right. Because it can really destroy your life. Like, let's say in 6 months you're afraid
Dude.
that everything will go away. Right? You can either that for the 6 months is ruined because you're stressed out of your brain thinking about how horrible that it will be if that thing falls through or doesn't
But
work.
that became so much of my norm over the last like 4 years.
Ruining great experiences in fear of bad things possibly happening.
So much of like, this needs to happen. This needs to like going through a construction time.
Right.
Is like every single month that you don't make significant progress, you're just bleeding. You're hemorrhaging money. And so like,
sure.
It starts with like, oh,
You
hey,
mean literal
like,
construction, like the construction of your gym.
The construction of the gym, which was 8 months delayed, which is
Because of COVID, so everything. Yeah.
not an insignificant amount of time. In the scheme
Serious
of
amount of time.
large scale construction things, though, it's really not even that bad. Like, that's not to do what we did. We were able to start and finish the project in less than a year. And the amount of work that we had to do, it's like crazy that we got all of it done in less than a year, even though we were behind schedule. But like that never stopped. Having to meet these things of like the feeling like things are teetering on like a razor's edge where you're like, this has to happen.
Or everything I know will burn.
That feeling, became just like, then COVID.
Yeah.
So being comfortable and leaning in with like the fun of the ride was suddenly like, I had always kind of had that attitude about life, but then like the stakes were just so high that it was like, no, failure's not
an option.
like, it's fun to go into something being like, it's if you fail, like whatever, but then when you're actually in that and you're like, no, like it's actually not an option. That's not a realistic option. That's not on the pages at all. Like, this has to happen.
Interesting. Yeah.
That creates like a certain mindset. That's pretty it's not a long-term thing for me to be able to maintain.
Yeah, right. I hear what you're saying.
So that like, but with like a business, with like business growth or just like life unpredictability, it's like, you're never going to actually you're never going to be certain of what's coming.
Yeah.
So just being okay. I mean, that's
in
like
every
the high
aspect
level
of life.
anxiety. Yeah.
Right? It's like, let's swap it out with your kids. Not knowing how your kids are going to end up, what they're going to get into. Oh, the thing we were just talking about, fear.
Fear for your kids. That's what
fear for anything. Your marriage, your kids, your business, your friendships, everything. It's like there's always so much uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And then
or just like your own performance.
Everything.
Fear of not meeting your own expectations of yourself. That one's really hard. So like similar things, self-compassion was what I've been calling it in my personal work. Self-love, self-compassion has been, having like, mercy for yourself.
Right. Beautiful, man.
That's a good.
I sympathize with that all the way.
It's very difficult.
I heard a great quote the other day. And I apologize, broads. I apologize. I can forget that I say things. You know what I mean? I can forget that I say things like I'm sure you can just say, oh, you said that 2 episodes ago. Like that happens a lot to me. So I apologize. Did I tell you that quote that I really liked about the journey? Did I say this?
I don't know.
My guru said this to me, actually I heard this from something the other day. And for some reason, this really translated to me in a much more clear way than I've heard. So you've heard life's not the destination, it's the journey, right? We've all heard it a million times and it kind of goes over our shoulders, like whatever. I heard it rephrased the other day and I was like, holy shit, that makes so much more sense to me. And it applies to this, which is the person who's truly won in life is not the person who's reached the destination. It's the person who's fallen in love with walking. And it was like, whoa. It's not about getting to that place where you've figured out in your head that there is no fear once you reach, because that doesn't exist. You need to fall in love with the just everyday getting up and doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once you fall in love with that process, the destination will just meet you at some point, or the destination doesn't even exist because you will have changed directions 4 times and the destination you thought that was the destination isn't even what you want anymore, right? But if you just fall in love with walking in the path, then the path is the destination. Yeah. Waking up every day is winning. And it was like, that really helped me with like that. Cause I have a similar thing too. I can constantly think about deadlines or to-do lists or whatever. And then until that to-do list is checked off, I'm not satiated. And by the time you checked off that checklist, you have 14 other checklists that you've made. So you'll never. It's
like getting your email down to 0.
That'll never happen. You'll go through the 30 emails you have, and there'll be 30 that have been sent.
So short-lived.
Mine for this last year, there's a similar one. I definitely feel that way as well. A lot of the similar feelings. But a different one that I feel like a challenge that I didn't step up to this year would be fostering my relationships like I normally do. I feel like I fell away this year. I let the stresses, I let the work come first. And I fell away from fostering my friendships, fostering my connections that I have that are meaningful. And I just realizing, how left texts on read, left, canceled hangouts and canceled connections and those things, and not prioritized like my relationships, and realizing that like those are important, and those are valuable, and those bring life. And at this stage in our life too, when we have kids and families and all this stuff, we can get lost in the to-dos and the get-or-dones.
Well, it's also, I think, in like, especially for guys, I think maintaining like your friendships becomes really hard.
Really hard.
Because everyone's just like, it's the effort becomes like, no, you actually have to call them.
Yeah.
Like if you want it, you have to do it.
Yeah. Before it was just like we're all living together, or we're all seeing each other. Exactly.
They're not going to hit you up. You have to do it.
Or they do, and then you go, oh yeah, I got to get back, and then you just blow it off. Exactly. That person went out on a limb, and you kind of blew it up,
But as you get like at this age, it's like very clear who does hit you up, and you're like, oh, okay. That's like at least that's where I'm at with a lot of mine, is like who actually hits me up.
Right.
But I also think that can be an unfair attitude, because when I run into people, it's like, fuck. That. Have you ever had that where you haven't seen someone for like a decade and then all of a sudden you run into them and now like a friendship is just like, boom?
I don't say I run into them, just because maybe geographically where I live, I don't run into people as much. It'll be more like, we both comment on a friend's post. It's something where it's like, I see their name and I go, oh my God. And then they text me and I'm like, whoa, like that happened the other day. I was talking to someone else, or you know what? I was on the phone with someone and that person was with a person I hadn't seen in 10 years. And they go, oh, they say hi. Whoa. And then we started texting and it was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I just had one of those.
Yeah.
My friend started seeing someone. They started like loosely dating. We all went to high school together. Haven't seen this person since we graduated high school. And then I got lunch with them the other day and it was like no time. Literally no time. It was like, hey, yeah, remember when we were 17 and 18 and now here we are. And it was like, just like instantly, like Oh, what's up? You know how you had friends where it was like you have a best friend and then they have a friend and you're always together,
Right.
but you don't ever actually like hang out with that person on the solo?
Yeah.
Someone like that. Where it was like, we used to hang out 3-4 days a week. And now I just haven't seen you for like 15
I
years.
have a couple of those. I have probably 4 of those from like my mid 20s, early
That
20s,
shit
where
is
it's like I hung out with those people
crazy.
every day for 2-3 years straight,
That
and I
shit
haven't
is
talked to them in 10
crazy.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? That's crazy.
I don't know. Now I'm at the stage where it's like, damn, now I want to kick it.
Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, let's get back to that.
Yeah. Like, dude, that was sick. Like, why aren't we hanging out? It's funny, like when you see people you were friends with, but then you fall out of touch and you'd be like, it wasn't ever like a point in time. If they were like, if you were actually down for that person, you'll always be down for that person. Because how different are you really from who you used to be? In
Depends. It depends.
I guess,
you
yeah,
know,
I mean,
it depends. Some people have radical changes.
I'm quite different from me at 16, but I'm also very much me from 16.
Right. Your guts are the same, but like maybe how you handle the guts or like what you do with the guts is different. That's like really becoming an adult, right? Is like, I have the same impulses. I just don't say
100%
yes
the
to
same
as many.
impulses. Yeah.
Okay.
Now that's like your quick joke, you know?
Yeah, right. But you don't give in.
No.
You pick the ones that are fun to give into, and like the toxic ones got to go.
The fun ones have to go.
The fun, right? The stealing the car,
All the fun has to go.
stealing
out
your
the window.
parents' car has to
Because
go.
getting older is just being less fun.
That's really inspirational. Listen, getting older is dying, and dying is a slow death.
And everyone's obsessed with living these days. I've been on this tirade.
Live fast, die hard.
I have literally been on this tirade of we're all acting like we're going to live to be like 100 years old.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to like protect ourselves like we're going to be 100 years old. But most of us aren't. Most of us are
100.
not going to
Dude,
be
Jess
centennials.
is going to live forever because both her grandmas are 95, bro.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
I just am
And
like,
they're like, bro, you talk to either of her grandmas, it's like talking to someone who's 70. They're like, hey, how's it going? What's up? Like, there is no like
do you know what
old.
though? My friend's grandpa.
They live on their like they're living, they're chilling.
My friend's grandpa was 96 when he kicked it.
That's
But
crazy.
You talk to him. We talked to him at the end. And he's like, everyone's dead.
Oh, that's both them. They're like everyone I've
They
ever
don't
known.
want to be that old, bro. If you spend time, we like put
Right.
old people away. If you spend time with them, your attitude on life will be totally different because they'll be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, why are you wasting time
What are
worrying
you
about all
doing
this?
being so safe,
Right.
dude? Like live life,
Live
do
life.
shit.
But see, I disagree because you can also make the argument that like the older you get, living can be like being extremely healthy and feeling great and like your body feels good because you're like taking care of it.
You know what those guys do though?
Right.
Like Laird Hamilton, who like
Yeah,
really,
Laird Hamilton.
yeah. You know what he did?
What?
He surfed like 80
Yeah.
foot waves.
He gets his rocks off a
He's
different
like,
way.
hey, like I'm super healthy, and I'm like,
But, like,
this
I might
thing,
die
and, like,
every
all this,
day.
but also, yeah, I fucking go balls to the wall every single fucking day.
Right,
That's why
right.
I'm so healthy
Right,
because I
right.
do this psychotic shit that makes me feel alive.
Right, that's true. Speaking of like
That's
yeah.
bro, that is risk taking, and we're in this thing of like, let's mitigate all of our risks. Like, what's the point of that? Oh, I'm gonna mitigate every single fun thing in my life to just get hit by a car one
Hey,
day.
Gray's on a rant now. We hit a button.
You know what I mean? No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like
Right.
so much shit's out of our control. You could just wake up and die.
Right.
And you'll look back on it, even though none of us, when you die, you don't get to look back on your
That's
whole
true.
life. But we have the image like we do.
But you
So
get,
in
if
this-
the 95-year-old can really look back,
Yeah.
because he's close.
if you make it to then, but the odds are you don't, because when you talk to someone who's 95, they're like, everyone I knew and cared about is dead. So, and they're like, dude, live life. They're like, do crazy shit. Like, what are you doing?
Right. I think the concept is there. I would say the application
Skydiving?
can be changed.
You know why skydiving is so exhilarating? That's the adrenaline.
Okay. Going into this next year,
Mm-hmm.
do you is there kind of like a feeling of like, okay, I want to do more of this?
I want to do more risky. I want to go skydiving next year.
Okay.
I want to just like.
Have I told you I've been skydiving?
No.
Yeah, I've been skydiving.
I really want to go do. I'm terrified.
It's wild.
I am scared shitless. I will pee myself.
Wild.
I
bro.
will have to wear an adult. I will have to wear an depends, and I will have to tell the instructor that I'm going
You should
to
hang
pee
like
myself.
shit diaper on the wall, being like, "This is the time that I went skydiving."
Oh, I've 1,000%. I think I've told you, but before every swim meet, I peed myself.
Right.
I don't have a control over it, and if I get into a situation like jumping out of a plane,
weak bladder.
I'm gonna have to tell the guy that I'm strapped to.
You're like, you should wear a rubber suit because I will urinate all over you.
I'm gonna ask him, has anyone like shit or peed on you? Like, I have a depends, just so you know.
I'm good. I have rubber underwear. So skydiving. That's something.
That's something where it's like it's always kind of, freaked me out. I just want to go do more shit. I really want to go hunting.
Okay. Hunting.
I have a vision of like going to Alaska, getting like dropped in Alaska with it. This would be like, I'd have to lead up to it, but I really want to do like a dream thing for me would be like with a couple friends, hire like a hunting guide and just get like dropped into the Alaskan wilderness for like 10 days.
Wow.
And just like have to do it.
Right. It's funny. I'm on a similar path when it comes to physicality like that. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because if we're getting older and we kind of have this, like we want to feel young again. But I'm like, yeah, I want to do scuba diving. That's something I really want to do. I've always loved the ocean. I've always loved surfing and snorkeling when I go on vacations. But I'm always like, whenever I'm, and I've talked about this before, but like whenever I'm snorkeling, I'm always like, I want to go down there and I can't hold my breath long enough.
Doesn't
so I'm
it
like,
freak you out though?
It doesn't freak me out for some reason. Like there's obviously a danger element to it, but I'm more exhilarated by the idea of like being in something that's unexplored.
Dude,
like this wild place.
Being deep underwater freaks me out because like I'm just like in my head, I'm like anything could just come out of the water.
I'm not looking to be like 200 feet deep, but I just mean the ability to be like 30, 40 feet deep and be like just checking it all out,
I would love to go in one of those subs, the little tiny subs that go super deep.
See, that scares me more.
That would be so
because it's like, what if this thing breaks and then I'm stuck in it?
I'd rather be meant to be like have a giant like prehistoric animal just like show up and like munch on it and it's like totally chill and then you like you have like claws and flashlights.
That scares me way more than scuba diving. Because at least in scuba diving, I'm kind of like I have my facilities.
I like the idea of the propellers being like, and you have lights, you have big headlights.
Right, and some weird like gargantuan animals like walking by. You're like, oh fuck, what is that? So it sounds like me and you want to be more physical next year.
Yeah,
like physically into something that is like.
I'm a doer. I want to be doing things.
I want to be out in the elements. I think you're a much more elemental guy than I am. Like you've done much more camping and rock climbing and backpacking. I've done very little. So I think that's something I want to explore.
We should do it.
Can you take me, Daddy?
Yeah.
I want to go. Take me. I want to go on like a good camping trip with you.
Hell yes.
Show me the ropes.
Oh hell yes.
Because I'm not like super experienced. I used to camp every year, but it's like tent camping in a little place and go hikes.
I told you I saw bears when I went.
Yeah, that's intense.
What the hell?
That's real deal.
You're just like hanging out. You're like just bears.
Like just an animal that could absolutely destroy me right there. My physicality was always in sports, football, hockey. Surfing, lifeguarding, all that shit. Yours was the surfing, but it was more outdoorsy. You were always in the rock climbing.
I was doing,
in the camping, backpacking space. So for me, I don't feel necessarily like I have this big desire to like get back. Like I want to do sports again and stuff like that's all great. And I really like that, but I feel like I haven't spent as much time in the elements as I'd like to.
Broads, I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to learn about the power of personal branding with Kris Jenner or learn how to cook with Gordon Ramsay or Broad Squad? What if you could learn the art of songwriting from John Legend? Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, right? Well, actually, it is cool, and you can do all those things. All you need is a masterclass membership, and you can do all of that and so much more.
Okay, when you join Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds. I mean, the selection of classes they have. My two favorites, Kris Jenner's, took that, love it. My other favorite, storytelling with David Sedaris. I could rave about those two all day long. They've got over 180 instructors, a bunch of different categories to choose from. There's classes added all the time. This is learning on your terms. The courses are available on your schedule. You can start and stop whenever you want. The videos are also available to watch on any of your devices. And, you can watch it on your phone, your Apple TV, your Roku, and more. And the courses come with additional materials that you can access whenever you want or have time to.
And here's the thing. If you're a New Year's resolution kind of person, Masterclass is perfect for you. Whatever skill or hobby you've always dreamed of learning, or maybe one you didn't even know you wanted to learn, whether it's becoming a better communicator or learning how to play tennis or mastering the art of the craft cocktail, Masterclass can help you get there in no time personally. I am so excited because I'm going to be starting this new year off with Esther Perel teaching relational intelligence. How amazing is that? Also, what an incredible gift to give someone. Masterclass, are you kidding me? Amazing.
We highly recommend checking out Masterclass this holiday season. Give an annual membership and you also get one free. Go to masterclass.com/chatty. Terms apply.
Okay, so truth time. I am always shocked by how much garbage we take out every single week. Look, I try to be conscientious of how much waste we produce as a family, but it just adds up. Even back in my single days, I remember being shocked that after a week had gone by, I somehow had a full trash can. And up until recently, I never thought of composting as something that I could do to help reduce the amount of food waste we produced because, hello, big city living over here just equals small actual living spaces, but now you can actually compost on your kitchen counter with Lomi.
Lomi is the coolest kitchen gadget we've seen in a really long time. It takes your food scraps, it turns them into dirt with just the push of a button. Lomi fits right on your countertop. It's so quiet while running, it's not even noticeable, and the process takes about 4 hours. Only 4 hours to turn food scraps into dirt. I mean, that takes, oh my God, we have an outdoor compost system. It can take years sometimes. No, Lomi, 4 hours. Afterwards, you have nice, nutrient-rich dirt instead of a bag full of garbage. I got one, and I bought one for my mom for Christmas.
We were able to cut our trash down by a third since we started using Lomi. That's incredible. Also, being able to toss our food scraps into the Lomi after a meal makes cleanup a lot faster, which is a very welcomed added bonus. And since it's small, you really can put it anywhere, like kitchen countertop, garage, laundry room, whatever. It's also just been really amazing to start using our Lomi with Ember. We're having these important conversations and actions that she can be a part of. She loves using it. I highly recommend you check out their website to get more information and just see how Lomi works. It's amazing.
If you want to start making a positive environmental impact or just make cleanup after dinner that much easier, Lomi is perfect for you. Head to lomi.com/chatty. Use promo code chatty to get $50 off your Lomi. $50 off when you head to lomi.com/chatty and use promo code chatty at checkout. Food waste is gross. Lomi is your solution. With the holidays around corner, Lomi's the perfect gift for someone on your shopping list. Like I said, I got my mom one.
I think that shit's cool.
Very cool. Speaking of elements, Mexico.
Oh, yes.
The beach, sunbeds.
Are you talking about paradise?
I'm not even talking about camping. I'm talking about paradise, baby.
Paradise.
Walking on heaven's door. He's gonna need a beer for this. Walking on heaven's door. I swear that I'm in forever in your eyes. Paradise.
So let me ask you if you agree with me on this.
Okay.
There's only one couple on the beach.
Okay. I know. Well, you know what? I felt that way for a bit. Not anymore. There's two couples on the beach.
Okay. Who?
Well, we have Genevieve and Aaron.
That's my
Legendary.
only couple for
Legendary.
right now. They're the only couple.
See, I love Logan and Kate. Now, I'm not saying I love them together. I'm saying I love the like what is going on with them.
Becca and I were talking about this of like there's an odd, like they could work.
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that way. It's more like I'm intrigued by watching this torment.
He'll just be a cowed.
Well, this is my best impression of Logan. It's just like, like if you're not watching me on YouTube, it's like the eyes are barely open. He's slumped over in his chair, and he's barely awake. And Kate is like this. She's completely wired and just staring down at him like, hello, let's get into it again. And he's like,
obscenely blown.
I can't do this anymore.
He looks obscenely blown in every single shot.
He just looks exhausted. His eyes are rolling back. Okay, quick though. Let's go through a couple things. We had the Justin Eliza situation where she shows up on his door. That was wild. I mean,
dude,
she was so confident. She literally, I think she thought he was going to just like come out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here, and run into each other's arms. Like, her face showed zero nervousness. She was smiling from ear to ear, and he hit her with just
it's the ultimate example of like, you always want what you can't have.
Right.
Or what everyone tells you shouldn't. Of like, that outcome was obvious to literally everybody but her.
Right.
But I don't think
that's true. There was like, well, I don't know. I mean, there could have been a chance.
I don't think what she did. But here's the thing: is like, it doesn't make what she did wrong. It's not like there's no wrong choice. Like, staying with someone that you're not actually as into,
right,
isn't the right choice.
I felt,
but it's like I mean, dude, when it was like just a couple of days, it's like, yeah, bro, like you chose someone else.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Right.
I
felt like she could have possibly pulled this off.
Mm-hmm.
But her problem was that she chose the wrong wording. Because she went in there and then she said, I told Rodney he deserves to be with someone that knows what they want and chooses them. And I go, uh-oh, you literally just described yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're the person that doesn't know what you want and then chose Rodney and now is choosing Justin. Justin literally was like, you reminded him. By saying that, you reminded Justin, like, oh, yeah, that's why we shouldn't be together, because you're doing what you said Rodney deserves. And it's like, if she would have come in and been like, I am so sorry. I blew it. I let everything get to me.
Because
I am so sorry. Please take me back. I realize we have something. I was caught up. Please give me another chance. Possibly would have happened. But instead, she was kind of like, I choose you.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not on the beach anymore. There is no choosing. And he got turned off by that. But if she would have come in way more like apologetic, and I'm not even saying she needed to be apologetic, but just more strategic and knowing that like she's going to have to like get him back. Instead, that was not the case.
I think that's a very good perspective on it.
Because I guarantee you still liked her.
Dude, she had him in the very first like minute when she was talking about like how she was caught up in all of the pressure from everybody, like telling her like what decision she should have made and like the whole environment. And he was like, yeah, like I can totally. And then exactly like you said, that's a perspective of Brendan when he was like, she doesn't even realize that she's not Justin's first choice. Because she's so used to being everyone's first choice that she doesn't realize he was here for someone else before.
So that was brutal. We saw, like you said, that we saw that coming. We were like, he's not going to be down for this. He's not going to be cool to be like what feels like second choice. Okay. Oh, one more thing too. It was kind of wild, and I was just like kind of processing it. Was like how much the guys were crying about Rodney.
Oh my God, dude.
I was blown away. I was like,
did Rodney?
There was moments where I was like, dude, the emotion that Andrew and Brandon are showing for Rodney right now are at the level, if not higher, than like if they were breaking up with the person they loved. Like they were sobbing. Their girls were consoling them. And it was literally like, I'm so sorry you're going. Like, there were moments where I forgot that's what they were crying about. And I thought, like, oh, are they breaking up? And I was like, oh shit, no, he's just sad that his friend knew this girl for 5 days and they're not together anymore.
They were acting like he died. Or like he was going to his death.
So, and that's what made me realize, like, it's not their fault. The show has made everyone lose their minds. Mm-hmm. Like, in any other situation, if you were living at home and your buddy's like, yeah, I've been seeing this girl for 5 days and like it's been going good, and then on the 6th day he's like, yeah, really
like,
bummed.
oh, that sucks.
You'd be like, dude, I'm so sorry, man. You want to come over and have a beer? Instead, the island has made them lose their minds to where they're just sobbing. Like, they become so, I guess probably too, when you're off your phone and not doing work, you're so involved in everyone else's drama that it becomes yours. So like, they felt Rodney's pain and it was their own pain. Like, they were breaking up as well with Eliza. It was intense. Okay. Kate and Logan. Let's get into this whole such a scenario, which was just epic.
She's just a mastermind. Kate is, it's artful is all I'm going to say. It is like, as far as like a villain, like she would be cast as the villain if it was like the Bachelor,
right?
You know, but with the way she's just handling like her positioning for like every single rose is phenomenal.
She called him a dog walker who has an orange Honda. Like, bro. I mean,
when she lays into like, when she's like, these are my like,
when she gets frustrated,
dude,
she goes for blood, bro. She does not hold back. She calls him a child.
But she's like, what's amazing is she's like, it's the only thing, that's the relationship she has going. And she's like, what the fuck? Like,
she goes, I'm a wower and I want to be wowed.
Dude.
Meanwhile, Logan's half asleep on the couch. Like, that's not the guy you go with if you want to be
like
wowed.
This. He's like, oh my God, dude.
He's not the guy you go for if you want to wake up to like roses every day. He's just a chill bro.
He's like, what's up, Kate?
Yeah. She's like,
come here, babe. Come here, babe. How are you?
You could tell. Yeah.
So
oh my
funny
God.
to me. But I just love how, to me, it's so transparent of like what her aim is in all of the conversations with Logan.
Oh yeah. Dude. So
he has to realize it too, of like, this is just like, this is the basket you decided to put your eggs into, and now you're just like, okay, if you're not with Kate, who the fuck else are you gonna be with?
They're both a little bit like
some couples are kissing all the time. They only kiss when they like have a massive argument.
They only kiss
like,
right after.
Yeah, then
like,
that's
are we good? Dude, my favorite thing about her is that she gets away with things that like are so like, the first thing that happened was when she gave him a rose and then told him that he needs to step it up. Right. And he goes, wait, I thought that like we were supposed to be like told the things that we like about each other when you get a rose. That was the first one. The second one was even more epic. The girls are now supposed to ask the guys to the dance. So every girl makes a thing, does a little special thing for their guy. She goes to Logan, sits him down, confronts him on more shit. Then at the end of it goes, I like what I hear. Will you go to the dance with me? Like, bro, her ability to say like, I ain't playing by the rules here, and I don't care how I make you feel, I'm getting this off my chest, is unprecedented.
I love it.
Unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it.
Love it.
She doesn't play by the rules. Like, every other girl on the beach is like, I'm going to do this special thing for my guy. She goes, no. I'm going to get this off my chest because it's bothering me about you. And then I'm just going to go, do you want to go to the dance?
My guy isn't deserving of it.
That's exactly
and
what it is.
She's advocating for herself. She's saying what she wants.
Bad dogs don't get treats.
That's it.
And you've been a bad dog.
You've been a bad dog.
Here's your leash. Here's your collar.
Now, walk in line.
Yeah, it's literally just like all the rest of the dogs are getting like their nails trimmed and like going to the salon.
They get to run
and they're
ahead.
like go run into the fields.
You know, when you see like certain dogs run to their leash catches and they're just like choking themselves, like,
yeah, right.
and they're just like smelling everything.
Brandon's running around
there, and then you see some people walking their dog, and the moment their dog walks ahead of them, and they go heel.
Dude, that's
And
the
they
perfect
stop.
example.
They stop in the street, and they're like,
the dog's
hey,
like,
hey. And then they walk again, and they're like,
and then some of them even do German. They're like 9,
sit, and then they're like, nope, sit.
And the dog's like, oh shit.
And then like, okay, here we go. That's
Logan. Logan's just like,
with the choke one, that one that like
the real needles.
it clinches when they pull tight on it. And they're like, no, it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't hurt them. Dogs can't feel that.
Dogs can't feel that. And
But
Logan's
it's
like, no, it does hurt. He's like, it does hurt. Stop. Oh my god, dude, the idea of Kate just being like, okay, let's go. She's got German command. She's like, Scheiße. Logan's like, wow. He's like, and Logan's just a golden retriever, and he's just like, oh god, it hurts so bad. Oh. Ooh. He's at the dog park, and all the other dogs are running around, and he's just sitting in the corner and is like, wow. Holy shit, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Oh. He just wants to run so bad. And he's like, it was so bad. He sees all the other dogs running. Ooh. Dude, that was insane. Okay. Yeah, that dynamic is just, this is what I've, like, honestly, using like the analogy that we were just talking about, I do feel like she basically has gone like this. Okay, there's no other guys down here I like. I'm not ready to leave though. I like this guy a lot. Like she says, he's tall and hot. Okay, I like that about him. It's tall and hot. It's like the first thing you see about someone. That's the first thing I saw about him is the only thing I like about him.
She likes about him.
What I like about her is that she goes, I can work with that. Like, I can build from that. So her whole
sculpt.
Yeah. So her thing is, I literally look at her like she's training him like a dog or a military, like where it's like, just gonna break him down to where he's nothing, and then from the powder, I can make a clay.
That's like if she was gonna do something with him after the show. Like, she's not gonna do anything with Logan after the show.
I'm gonna grind him to a fine powder and then make something out of the powder.
She's just reducing him to powder for no reason.
she's got him in one of those bowls, and she's just,
dude, like, oh my god. And what's their faces coming on didn't help his situation.
No, it didn't help at all.
Rachel and Gabby,
and he tried to get a little power back. Did you notice that? Because he goes, can I talk to you? Because he was going, okay, I want this to be even playing field. You did this thing where you said yes to a date, wanted me to fight for you. So now I'm going to say maybe to a date in hopes that you'll tell me not to go. And then it backfired on him.
Humongous backfire.
Massive.
She's like, what are you even doing entertaining, like having a conversation with me on this?
That was days ago. Like, things are different now.
She's like, you can't entertain that idea. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
I loved it.
Oh my God. And then he immediately realized, he's like, oh, you're right. Sorry.
Dude.
Back to the powder.
Yeah.
Back to the powder I go.
Right. Dude, just Gabby and Rachel did him zero favors.
Oh my God,
They
bro.
lit his ass up.
Well, because he was like working his way back.
Right?
He's working his way back. He's groveling. He's apologizing. He's trying to be
Their
like.
sole purpose coming down to the beach was just to smash Logan.
Well, every day Kate's ripping him for a new one. You know, and again, I don't honestly, but to Kate's defense, she's going, he isn't what I need. but I'm going to try and build something from this. I'm not saying it's the right move, but she's fighting for
she's just
something out of it. Right?
It's if she wants to continue on, then she's gonna have to figure it out.
Right? So.
But here's the thing: is if that's this is where I think Logan's thing is he's like, okay, even if that's the case, you could just be chill,
right?
We don't have to be like all this like. Let's like, what do you actually want from this? Do you want a relationship with me? Like, what's the point of all of this? If you're just waiting for someone else to come, like, why don't you just be fucking chill?
Right.
And I'll give you the rose and we'll get through another, like, couple of things. Why do you have to just, like,
I
break
like my
me
orange
down?
Honda.
Why can't we just have a good time?
Right. And she's like, no, I'm trying to craft you into the man I need.
And she's doing it, like, on TV where she's, like, talking about how he, like, you know, his job and finance situation and just, like, sort of what a loser deadbeat he is.
Yes. And I just feel like she's literally just going, yeah, you're tall and hot, but I'm going to make you that. I'm going to figure out a way to make you what I need.
Also, the whole time, she's with him. You don't want to be like, this is like, it's never a good look if you're like, my partner's trash. You're with that person.
Right.
If you don't like it, stop. But like, if you're not going to get out of it, then fucking stop. Because like, what's the point? It's just evil.
Yes,
granted,
but I will say we can all sympathize with like being frustrated at our partner and not leaving them.
Sure.
So I do think that she sees potential in him. I just think that she keeps harping on the same thing every day, which is like he's 7 years younger, he's not established, blah blah blah. And it's like,
but she has no other options. Your other option is the twin.
That's what this is coming down to, is that she like clearly likes him, has a lot of chemistry with him, but like on paper, it's completely wrong, and her brain is like fried with that combination. That's why anytime you keep repeating the same points, it's because you can't accept them, but you're also not willing to leave.
Dude, if I was Logan, like at that point, I'd just be like, bro, like if you want my rose, like you gotta stop.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, no. There's other, like, just no, dude. He's got some scarcity mindset shit going on right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's like, Logan, this week you have the power. What's gonna happen after you give her your rose and now she has the option, and you're gonna like, what is that gonna look like?
Because technically he cannot give her a rose.
He
right?
shouldn't give her
but I'm saying, and then
rose.
she'll go home, and then he'll just still be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's, again, we're reaching a point on the beach where people are losing their minds. And in normal life, you wouldn't put up with this stuff, or you would have left. And I feel like is exactly the same for both of them. Normal circumstances, she would have been like, you're too young, you're not established enough, it's not going to work for me. So being forced to stay together makes you say all these things and become this person that grinds you down to a powder. He, on the opposite end, is going on the beat. In any normal situation, he'd be like, dude, she's just, I won't let up about me. She doesn't like me for who I am. She tries to constantly change me. We're breaking up. On the beach, you just put up with it so that you can stay alive.
Whereas, though, but that's what I'm saying is, if what he has going for him is that he's tall and hot, focus on that.
But
you're
I
on
think,
Bachelor in Paradise. Just be tall and hot together on the beach.
But again, I think the beach, the circumstances of the show put so much of a pressure on falling in love that everyone else is falling in love and considering engagement.
I'm about to go off on this season right now. You're about to get like a little mini rant on this season because I've got two major problems with this season.
Okay.
No one's gone to the boom boom room.
Dude, you're right.
So
how is Brandon and Serene must have
not hot enough because no one's going to the boom boom room. No one is on there like my Beach King freaking Riley. No one's on there like Riley going night one and just establishing like one of the best, like that was one of the best BIP relationships we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that's not happening, which is like, what the fuck? How has no one gone to how do we not have some boom boom action?
That's true.
Secondly, why the fuck does everyone think the rose ceremonies don't matter? Everyone's just walking off the beach. Like
that's
they don't have to do this.
True. One second.
What the hell is that? This is where I call question on Jesse Palmer. And I'm like, you can't let this shit happen. Everyone's just making up the rules as they go. You signed on to be on The Bachelor. The
Where
beach
is he?
The beach isn't what you want it to be. You got to go up on that rose ceremony and either not get a rose or just tell someone you're not going to give them the rose because they were an asshole. But like, that's what,
Right.
You don't just get to be like, give me a car, I'm going home.
Everyone just leaves, and
What
then
the fuck is that?
no, everyone just leaves when they're pissed. And then also, where's Jesse Palmer? We haven't seen him since the new guys came.
You're supposed to be regulating the
month ago.
contestants, dude.
That was
You're
a month
supposed to be
ago.
regulating the contestants.
Usually, the host kind of intercepts the person who's leaving and goes,
especially when shit's going
and
awry.
they go, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on? Like, are you okay? Everything okay? Like, what's going on?
you have
Talk
to
me."
keep people on the beach. What the hell is that?
So that relationship's wild. Genevieve and Aaron.
They're the only, in my opinion, they're the only real couple on the beach. All of these other people who like, if they have like, oh, it's pure bliss, that's not real. That's not real. You don't know enough. You have
Right.
to go through arguments with your partner to figure out how they argue to actually be with somebody.
They're the far extreme though. They're fighting over itching and pain. Like that fight was legendary.
See, what bothers me about that is their relationship is so reflexive of my own relationship that if you say anything negative about theirs, I'm going to take it personally because I think what they have is beautiful. And personally, I think for everyone who was bothered by that argument doesn't understand the stakes involved in that argument, because what we're talking about are things that are taken as fact.
You're right.
And someone's trying to say that that's not the case, but that's a proven fact. Itching is considered to be low-level pain.
Low-level pain. I love at the end.
I don't care that it bothers you that it needs to be my point. The point would need to be proven one way or the other. You don't just get to challenge reality and everyone just say, oh, it doesn't matter.
My favorite was at the end of their conversation when he goes, "We're getting bit up by bugs out here," and then you heard the producer go, "Is it painful?" He goes, "No, it's more low level than that." That was a great line. It was more low level than that,
dude.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing I've seen though. What is funny to me is like the real problem, and not the real problem. The real funny bit to this whole thing is Aaron, because Genevieve, as wild as she gets in times, she generally, with Aaron, kind of keeps somewhat of a cool head. Like she does, and she's definitely not the first person to start yelling and like putting a foot down. She just kind of like says stuff and keeps a cool head. And Aaron is the one, because he'll just go off immediately and be like, "I will die on this hill," even if it's about itching and pain. Instead of just going, "Oh, how you doing?" It's like, "Well, this is what it is." And she goes, "Well, I don't really feel that way." And he goes, "It is this way, and that's just how you feel. And there's no question about it. And if you fight me and we're done." It's like, oh my God, bro. I was laughing so hard.
But dude, him being like, "Oh yeah, I bet she's got her name brand suitcases on the Jungle Path right now."
I called the Jungle Path too. I was like, "Watch,
dude,
she's gonna say Jungle Path in 10
it's
seconds."
The best, because she was. I love her being like, "Call me a car.
Which wasn't even crying.
Call me a car right now, or I'm gonna hitchhike." Barefoot. Yeah. I was loving the drama of it, because he's like,
was amazing.
He doesn't take it seriously.
She knows what she's doing. She got him to come down to follow her all the way down
because he
fight
has
for her.
to.
Yes,
and she was even like, she wanted it.
She was kind of laughing almost.
God, dude, I know, because it was like me and Becca, like last night. Becca, we were like, it wasn't like a full blown argument, but it was something where like she was thinking about scenarios that like weren't happening.
Right.
It was about like, if I were single,
right,
and I were to be pursuing someone, the amount of effort that I would be putting into pursuing that person is less than the effort that I currently put into pursuing her. But I was like, bro, I'm not single and I'm not pursuing anybody. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Right. It was like trying to just get a little friction going.
Dude, it was like it was so funny, because it like hit this point where it was like, I'm not trying to pick a fight right now, what she said. And I was like, well, you sound like it.
Right.
Why are you saying things that sound like you are?
It was a little itching pain vibes.
Because it was hilarious, because it's their shit is exactly like, it's just personalities.
Right.
And it's like, what I love is they're not apologizing to anyone around them.
No, they'll fight right in front of you.
Right in front of him. And if you were to try to interrupt that, she has his back.
Yeah.
The moment someone challenges it, she's going to defend him.
Right.
It's like, dude, it's like when
They're like a mafia couple.
when two siblings are fighting and then the parent tries to get in between and they're like, what the hell are you doing here?
Right.
We have something going on. Get out of this, Dad. And then suddenly they're a team again.
It's like a mafia couple where it's like they're fighting like cats and dogs, and all of a sudden someone goes, "Hey, you don't talk to my husband that way."
It's a power dynamic, dude.
Right.
It's about power dynamic and who's got the. I just find, that's why I'm saying is I relate to them the most.
It's funny because he never dies on hills that are about the thing they're talking about. He dies on hills like, you need to believe that the thing I'm saying is a fact. Like he's dying on the hill.
He doesn't
that
like to be
itching is low
challenged in
level
that.
pain. He's not dying on the fact that like she's having a bad day and what she needs to do to change it. He's dying on the fact that like she's not believing his fact that
This
he
is
knows.
the thing though, is
And
Aaron
that
is
killing me.
passionate and fiery, and he needs someone who is also passionate and fiery, and she is that, and she brings that. He likes to feel that way.
Right.
He likes to get worked up in that, and she gets him worked up. And then they get like, their resolution, and it's like he doesn't have to explain that to anybody, and she doesn't need to explain why that's okay to anybody either. I'm not here for anyone judging their relation. They, as far as I'm concerned, they're the most stable and real relationship on that beach.
I wrote down a couple of the sayings that he said during their fight because I was like, these are legendary to me. The first one, which I feel like is the new be respectful, is look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Google it. Look it up.
I don't understand why we're even arguing.
And then
But none of them have phones, so they can't look anything
And
up.
also, why would you look that up? That's an insane thing to look up. So let's say they look it up and then you resolve that. It's an insane thing. But the next one was, don't yell at me. Look it up. That was a great line. Don't yell at me. Look it up. And then when he's talking about at the end when they were on the jungle path and they were resolving
Jungle path.
he goes, listen, babe, I'm out here fighting for you. I'm trying to give you sweet love. I'm trying to give you sweet love was one of the best comments of the year. Babe, listen to me. I'm trying to give you sweet love. The whole demeanor.
We have to get on his podcast.
We have to have him on. We have to get on his, whatever it is.
We'll do another episode if we can get his ass or
Holy
us
shit.
over there.
And then the whole nectar thing was pretty great when they were teaching
Nectar,
about
yeah.
nectar. And he was just like, so like, what? She's like, well, so what is nectar? And he's just like, well, like when you have,
Did you used to say that, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same. I was like, I know exactly what they're talking about.
But also, if you guys aren't from like Southern California in the 90s, like what's a very signature move is to abbreviate everything or to shorten everything. So when he said, okay, so let me give you an example of nectar. Early morning when you have a little bit of that iced coffee and it goes down to the lower intestine. Like lower intestine is the most like, oh my God, I was transported back to being 12 years old, hanging out with that 20-year-old surfer.
Well, this
that
is where I'm like,
listen, bro, we're going to go down there and get a little iced coffee for the intestine. Like
where
that
is Aaron from? Is he from San Diego?
I don't know. Cause if not, that's
now
hilarious.
I'm like, yeah, cause it's hilarious if he's not, because he certainly acts like he's loked.
And he goes like, dude, like another example of nectar is like when you're morning and you get that like amazing fucking burrito and it's got the jalapenos on it. Nectar. Oh my God. What? Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Well, how would you describe nectar?
Nectar is just something that's like epic. Something that's like amazing. So like anytime you're just like, oh dude, it was incredible.
It's
nectar.
The nectar of itself is like the juiciest, sweetest
it's like
part. It's the oyster. I mean, not the oyster. It's the
part
pearl.
of something. It's when something's
pearl
the
of
best.
Yeah, it's the best part of that thing. The sweet nectar. That's what those little birds want. Is the nectar, that sugary nectar. Dude.
And Serene nailed it. She's like, okay, let me try. So like when the waves are going off and you're getting barreled, is that nectar? And she's like, and it's nectar. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, that was so funny.
I don't think it wasn't Serene. It was Johnny's lady. I don't know.
Was
why
it
I can't think of
Victoria?
her name. Yeah. Victoria was saying it. It drove me out of my mind when she said it.
It was Victoria.
But
you're right.
Yeah, like a feeling can be nectar, but I liked Aaron's drops on like the burrito was nectar.
It's less the feeling.
Because the food aspect is what it's really like. That's really what you want to use it towards, is like food and drink, because that's what it's being drawn from. That's what it's derivative of.
It's less, I mean, this derives from surf culture. So like, if you don't know, it's like the idea of nectar too is like, it's like, oh, it's about the ocean, the waves, you know, it was
sweet.
The swell was nectar,
of the fruit, dude.
nectar of the gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the idea that like nature was nectar, like shit, like whatever was happening this morning was nectar. Like
having a sick surf sesh and then getting out to like a fresh fruit salad of some kind, and
Nectar.
then just enjoying the nectar of the ocean of like some raw fish or like a poke
but you
bowl.
wouldn't be like, oh, that sex was nectar. Like
No,
that's not
no,
the
no,
thing.
no,
So
no.
it has to do with nature a little bit. There's a nature element there. That's so funny. Okay, lastly, Andrew, NC, Jasenia dance drama was epic. Epic.
My boy Andrew.
Andrew, please. Andrew, please.
Andrew, please.
Andrew, please.
I just love.
Andrew, please.
Do
300 times.
You want to be friends with her after this? Yeah. Are you sure about that? Yeah. I love that. That was the highlight for me. Yeah, I'm sure.
What was so good about it was the fact that she took him talking to her as like she was losing him. And it was like the panicked, I gotta insert myself
He's
in
literally-
multiple times is the quickest way to turn him off of you ever. And
He's
it's like,
literally over there arguing for why he's exploring his relationship with you. And you're coming over there being like, if you want to be with me, you walk away from her right now. And he's like,
yeah.
fuck. And then she's like, this seriously?
Yeah, it was like, you're missing this whole thing.
I just
here.
felt bad. I also was like, dude, like you need to move on from Andrew's situation. Like, why are you even spending time on this? This is not like, let that dumpster fire burn.
The star was Jasenia. Cool headed.
Well, that's who I'm saying needs to walk away and let the fire burn. Is
But
that
she was
Jasenia needs
amazing.
to-
I mean, personally, it's like she didn't freak out on him. She could have totally freaked.
Well, in the start, I was like, when what's her name? Anise?
Oh no, NC.
NC, when she came on, that's when Jasenia really started to shine. Jasenia up to that point was just pissed at him for like having her time be wasted. Then when Anise showed up was when she really started to shine, because that was like, it was like, for me, I was like, Andrew, are you serious right now? Like, if you had to choose between the two of them, you're literally choosing her over over Jasenia.
Right.
Like Jasenia seems so like it's like going back to the Rodney Justin thing of like,
But the reason why I feel like I'm a little bit more on Jasenia's side about the whole thing, is because I felt like he never really gave Jasenia a real chance because he was still hung up on Teddy.
No.
She didn't know he was still hung up on Teddy. So then he's kind of moping around constantly, clearly not paying a lot of attention to her. It seems like she's always kind of waiting for him to know what he's going to do. Someone walks down, he immediately decides to go on a date with her, and then just immediately comes back and just goes, yeah, she has new energy. I liked that. And I was like, dude, you've been with her for like a week.
yeah,
And
no,
you
he
drop
was-
her immediately just because she has new energy.
he did Jasenia very dirty.
He did her dirty. And then she could have come at him at the dance and been like, you're an asshole. Did it? She didn't. She just said, I feel like you've played this whole thing wrong. You were just kind of floating. You never really committed. And you can discuss words, and maybe she didn't use all the best words, but I did feel like the main thing that can be like talked about in a way of she did a good job is that she didn't fly off the handle once. She didn't scream at him, call
I
him
think
names.
that's very fair.
Like she kept it chill. You know what I mean? She expressed her opinions, which we all can or have, should be able to do calmly. And she didn't fly off on him. And even if she was critical of him, she wasn't ripping
I
him
loved
open.
when she was defending him though, when she's like, you're giving him an ultimatum.
And that's not.
what
And
you're
she goes,
doing-
and that's not fair.
and that's
I
not
was like,
fair.
oh shit! Like that was a good play. 'Cause
That
it
was a
made him-
very
'cause, like,
good play.
She's confronting him, then makes NC look bad by doing that call.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, you know what it was to me? Perfect, because it was a Sadie Hawkins dance. An ex pulls someone. The current partner freaks. They're fighting, screaming, crying. Like it was.
The
You
whole
can't have
dance
it.
was ruined.
You can't. Well, no, and that's what you needed to dance.
Mm-hmm.
At a high school, junior high dance, you need someone to ruin it, and it was just like perfect. The only thing so NC all of a sudden just was like hysterical, crying, like she's like, "Ah!" like bawling, and I was like, haven't you known him for 12 hours?
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't
am I
get
missing
that.
something here? Like you've known him for 1 day, and you immediately leave. and are crying.
This is what I'm talking about.
Uncontrollably.
Why are these people just leaving? Who do they think they are? You came on there and your first choice didn't work out. Paradise. You gotta find someone else.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Everyone's just having a meltdown and leaving the beach. Jesse needs to get on there and yank on. He needs to pull the chain. Everyone's a contestant on the show. Like, you signed up for it. I'm sick of this shit. I'm gonna blame the previous season where they had like the mafia that was like just kicking people off the beach.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude. Like, no. The rose ceremony dictates who stays and who goes. That's the appropriate method by which Bachelor has laid out the rules. And I do not like that the rules are just being bypassed.
Right. Being bypassed.
It's upsetting. I find it deeply upsetting and problematic.
Oh my God. That was wild. How she responded. And dude, my favorite was when she grabs him and she kept grabbing him and holding him, and he's like trying to leave, and she wouldn't let him go. And she was like thinking that like if she held him in a cuter, like in a real cute way, that all of a sudden he would just melt and be like, "You're right." And she kept doing it. No, Jesse, please. Or not Jesse. Andrew, please. Andrew, please. And he's like, Andrew, please. Andrew, please. Andrew, please. Andrew, please. Andrew, please. Andrew, please. And then he's like, I got it. Andrew, please. And then she hold him and force him. And
dude, it is painful.
Like, you know in movies when the person's
Cringy.
like crying hysterically and they're like, no. And then they force you to hold. And then they go, no, oh, I love you. That's what she thought was going to happen. And he's just like, can you please leave me alone? And she's like, I was begging. It was just like hysterical. It was wild.
Not the move.
Good 2 episodes.
Good TV.
Great TV.
Good
man.
TV.
Great TV.
Good TV. Good job on the casting on that one.
Great job.
I still don't think they should have been allowed to leave the beach. Personally, better TV if they have to stay there.
I'm cool with Andrew leaving. He's been there the whole time, and I guess he leaves, and it's tiring. He's exhausted. But
She can't leave.
She was there for 8 hours. Like, you got to come back.
Andrew admitted that he was basically like, no, I'm not okay to be here.
He's like, I've been here for 2 weeks, and I shouldn't even. I've been here 7 weeks since Teddy.
But you know
and
what?
I never even got over it.
He stuck it out because
Long.
that's what you're supposed to do on the show.
Or at least threaten to leave and don't leave. Do a Genevieve. Threaten to leave multiple times. Pack the bags.
Producers should not be calling cars for anybody.
Pack the bags. Get to the jungle path. Turn around.
And have someone come. And if they don't, then you just have to embarrass you. Then you have to be embarrassed and go back.
God, that's awesome. Great episodes though. Good shit. I thought it was going to be boring because I was kind of like, everyone's locked up. We're not really going anywhere. And then they turned up the heat.
Best.
They turned up the heat. It'll be interesting to see the finale, like what they can do to spice up the end.
To see Logan's proposal to Kate.
And I hope he goes, and I'm going to give you this wedding ring. I just want to see a couple things change.
I
I
really hope that he doesn't give her his rose. Because that would make excellent TV.
That would be good TV. Or he gives her the wedding ring and she goes, yeah, I just feel I do like this. And I will put this on.
I like this. I appreciate it.
I have a checklist of things I need to see before we move in together.
I would love her to be like, yeah, I just don't see this going somewhere past this. Get him to the point where he's going to propose and then she just denies
Breaks
him.
his soul. Wild. And he's just like, so then he falls asleep. Immediately, he finally goes to sleep. Oh, good shit. Good business. We love you all. Have an amazing weekend. Peace and love. And we will see you next week. Kisses, hugs, chat soon. Bye.
Snaps for you guys.
Snaps for everyone involved.
Such a good audience.
God,
Such a good audience.
We love you guys. Cheers.